Hey guys, it's Penelope in London, and what we're going to do is briefly look at my chart, and then we're going to look at solar fires. So what I'm going to show you, I'll just get my pointer here. Hang on a second. Here you go. Right. So what we're looking at is natal chart. We want the time that we're born. If you're new to astrology, go to astro.com here, or I'll show you an alternative you can go to as well. Both great sites. And what you can do is to put in your time, date, place of birth. And time is really important because you want to bring up your rising sign, which will then define the houses that your planets fall into, and it will define your first house, which is really important. So I'm Scorpio rising, and that's very, it's defined what that means. I'm not going to go into that now. Then on the outside of the chart, we have the planets where they are right now. So that would be the collective chart, which I'm going to show you on solar fire. And with this, currently, I'm going to look at Lilith today. So Black Moon Lilith looks like this. And then we have Asteroid Lilith. And they're two, Asteroid Lilith is different from Black Moon Lilith, but I'm going to explain what Black Moon Lilith is doing in our chart. She is to do with the shadow. And, that relates to me to the work of Carl Jung as well. And we can see what is happening for us, our feelings that are moving through us and defining our next steps in life. And this is ultimately what astrology is. It's the oldest form of psychology. If you zoom back in your head or you picture, thousands of years ago, there would have been no light, no electricity, and people would have been looking up to the stars and putting in data to them, and then watching the cycles of the moon and measuring things. If you go back to 500 years, Galileo and Nostradamus and some beautiful human beings who did beautiful work to bring this together. And we're looking at archetypes. And then later we had Carl Gustav Jung, who really began to put this into words for us. And I will now show you the other chart the other page that I suggest you look at. Let me show you Astro. Let's see if I can do this, if I do it correctly. So you can also go to AstroSeek and you can bring this up as well. And you can put your date and time of birth there. You can see here. And this is the collective chart, but I want to work with solar fire today. So with this chart, the collective, we can see it's Aries rising. And then that's the beginning of the chart. And then we've got where the sun is right now. It's 11 degrees of Aquarius. The moon is in Virgo. And the Mercury is just gone stationed. It's going to go retrograde for 3 weeks now. So let's now go to solar fire. And this is solar fire, and I've got the ability to move this. So if we take days, you can see this. You can see if I move it, days ahead, the moon moves. So let's go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. So the moon, Virgo, right? That's where it is, 11 degrees. So what we have is that at the moment, I'm just doing the tight orbs here. An orb is like how far a planet is away in aspect from another. So the sun is in an inconjunct to the moon right now. There's the sun, and inconjunct is 150 degrees. We've got the sun squaring Mars. So it's so exciting. We've got the sun square to Mars. You see it's 11 and that's 12. That's a square. And then we've got the sun conjunct Jupiter. And this is here. And also the moon is trine to Mars. So the moon moves rather quickly. It's trine to Mars here. And the moon is in conjunct to Jupiter. So the moon is another in conjunct to Jupiter. That's a tricky aspect, but it's we're moving through life, and they all move. They don't stay stuck. And Mars is square to Jupiter also. So we can see that square. And then Saturn is square to Uranus, and Saturn squaring Uranus at the moment. Saturn is 5 degrees and Uranus is 6 degrees. They're separating. In fact, actually, no, they're not separating because Saturn moves faster than Uranus. So Saturn takes 29 years to move around the chart, and Uranus takes 84. So that's moving towards. So it's it's applying actually. So we're going to look at that later this week, what's going on there. And we've got the node square to Neptune, which we're trying to figure out if we're coming or going at the moment. The nodes are square to Neptune. And then we've got Chiron sextile Saturn. So these are the things that are going on. And then on top of that, Black Moon Lilith is Black Moon is on top of Mars at the moment. And this was my main little bit for today. And I'm going to make this a short video, but hopefully been a bit educational. Natal. So if we have the natal conjunction, the Black Moon and Mars denotes that we may have trouble controlling our temper or curbing aggression. Instead of inhibiting these tendencies, the Black Moon, which is here, Black Moon Lilith, instead of inhibiting these tendencies, the Black Moon magnifies them. So it's magnifying at the moment, you know, this feeling of our feelings of, you know, being out of control, anger. With this aspect, it's hard to contain our emotions and can make us unpredictable. It can make us impulsive. And, you know, impulsivity is something we may battle. As we begin to heal the shadow, which in humanity, that's our job to do for each of us, and our narcissism and such like, and we learn to think before we act, making an easier time for ourselves and everyone else. Tempers rarely mellow completely with this aspect going on, but we do learn to temper out our hair triggering responses. And then as the transit, when transiting Mars conjuncts or opposes, anger invariably surfaces. The level of anger is proportional to the strength of the primary fear. Under this transit, events develop to trigger feelings of our primary fears that are impossible to ignore. People tend to vent. Expression of these feelings comes from a deep level within the psyche, and the explosiveness often makes other people fearful. So this is what's going on at the moment, hey? Important to know this stuff. It's a wonderful time to undergo counseling or talk therapy, and also, you know, we will make progress, but we've got to begin to look at ourselves clearly. Otherwise, it will be our downfall. If we don't look inward, it's our downfall. And that's it for today. I'm going to leave it there, and I'll make another video in a couple of days and go deeper into the chart work. But I thought I'd do this little update. I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching.